Kevin Lee came out, got in front of a story, said that USADA was going to hit him for banned substance. Okay, banned substance being Adderall. Adderall is one of these tough ones. It is so important. You've got to do research, but then you have to research the research. There is a myth going around this sport, and let this be a teachable moment for Kevin Lee. Let Kevin be the one that's going to teach other people, but there is a myth that is going around this sport and is perpetuated by executives, is perpetuated by fighters, is perpetuated by managers, is perpetuated by pundits. It's not true, and it has never been true, which is to be on the banned list, you must be a performance-enhancing substance. That is not true. That has never been true. There is a banned list. You can't take anything on it. It does not have to enhance your performance. That's where the misconception comes in. The reason I'm reminding you guys of this, and we're going to use what happened to Kevin here as a teachable moment, is you do not get to decide. This doesn't make me bigger, stronger, faster. Therefore, I'm allowed to take it. It doesn't work that way. You have to cross it with USADA. And you could go to the website. I mean, that requires some work. Hopefully you'll have a manager. Maybe you'll know how to do it yourself. You can go straight to Novinsky, 24 hours a day. I was not in the UFC, and I would go to Novinsky. He's never met me, but he knew he wanted to keep sport fair, that I had a question. He got back to me. It matters. Because there used to be a time there was no one to ask. There used to be a time you'd go before a commissioner and go, well, I didn't know. And the commissioner would go, well, it's your job to know. And you go, well, how do I find out? There was no website. There was no .coms for a while. There was no 800 number you could call. There was no office. There was no secretary. There was nobody that you could speak to, and you were held accountable to know. The world has changed slightly, but I have to make sure that you guys hear this on the Kevin situation. He has a legal medicine that he obtained legally through a doctor, prescriptions, the whole bit. But he must get a TUE, a therapeutic use exemption, which would have been a piece of cake. It would have been some forms he fills out. Doctor would have signed off on it that, yes, I gave him this, and we're not in this spot. I assume that Kevin Lee looked at this and goes, well, that's not a performance enhancer. I assume he did that. Because this just happened 2 other times in recent memory. You guys will remember the Olympic Games. And Simone Biles pulled out. And Joe Rogan did a piece on his show where allegedly Simone was on something called Ritalin. The country of Japan doesn't allow Ritalin. They look at it like we look at a Class C substance. It's absolutely banned. You cannot fly over. You cannot have it in your possession. You cannot ingest it. And it greatly affected Simone. Ritalin is very in line with Adderall, with Concerta. Very in line. Time-released Ritalin, essentially. Broad stroke, essentially, though. I can look back 2 years ago. The greatest wrestler in America, possibly the world, Jordan Oliver, had this same thing happen to him. He wins the national title. He's getting ready to go represent the country. He's getting ready to make his dreams come true. He gets flagged for Adderall. And Jordan Oliver shrugs his shoulders and goes, I'm allowed to take that. That's legal. I have a doctor's note right here. What are you talking about? I popped for it. And it was one of these teachable moments where you come back on the backside and you go, guys, that's just not the way it works. And that includes your health food stores. You go into a GNC, you start reading all those ingredients on the back, and some of those ingredients have active ingredients. This is where I tell you, you got to research the research. You can't just look at ingredients. You then have to look at active ingredients. And a lot of them have pseudonyms. A number of them will be some names, some 10 letters, 4 different syllables that you've never heard of before. You'll enter that into the computer, into the database. It won't come back, but it's got an active ingredient that is banned. It can get very complicated. Demetrius Johnson said it best. Demetrius Johnson said, I have no idea what the rules are, and I'm the champion, which is why I only put food and water into my body. And you may not like that. You might not think it's fair, but it is disclosed. USADA plays very above board. They will disclose, and a lot of it's tough. A lot of it is, it's your job to know. Here's where we've posted it. The UFC went one step further, which is to have Jeff Novinsky, an actual human being. No hold, no operator, no weird word. An actual answer, and Jeff will put it in writing. He will write you back and say thumbs up or thumbs down. So this is going to be a teachable moment. We get it. Kevin did not bigger, stronger, faster, steroids. No. Okay, we get it. He took something that a lot of people take. Did not disclose it properly. He's going to do his time. We understand that. But don't let that happen to you. Make sure that you understand. You've not only got to research, you've got to research the research. You got to know about ingredients, but you have to know about active ingredients. Always ask questions. Always get something from somebody in authority in writing before you do it. Or above all, default to Demetrius Johnson and don't put it in your body unless it's food or water.